So, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining Medibank's Live Better at Home Heavy Metal Mindfulness. We're really excited you could join us today for a mindfulness session like no other. So, joining me today is Liam Frost-Camilleri. He is the vocalist of metal band Fall and Resist, and he's also a really passionate mental health advocate. So, Medibank, I know Liam got in touch with you recently because they've launched their Live Better campaign, exploring new and unexpected ways to live better, such as heavy metal meditation or
Yeah.
crazy dancing. And we know that living better means something different to everyone. So, Medibank are encouraging everybody to find their own version of living better. So that's what we're doing here today, Liam. We're going to have a chat about one of those weird and wonderful ways of living better through heavy metal music as a mindfulness technique. So welcome, Liam,
Thank you
and
so much.
lovely to see you. How you doing?
Likewise. Yeah, no, very well. Thank you very much. Yeah. Good to see you, Emily.
So I'm pretty excited about this chat today because I am also a musician. I'm not a heavy metal musician. I do respect heavy metal and the technicality of it. I'm a bit more of an indie folk kind of girl myself. But I'm super excited. And what I wanted to do is just start off by asking, how long have you been listening to heavy metal for?
Oh, for the longest time. It really started when I was about 9 or 10 years old. I mean, that time when you start to actually realize what type of music you like. My brother listened to it a lot and I sort of picked up from there, and it just became somewhat of the soundtrack to everything that was happening within my life. I started out with some of the softer heavy metal. So, things that people have heard of, Metallica and Iron Maiden and these sorts of things. And then as it progressed, I got heavier and heavier. And now whenever I tell people what I listen to, they have no idea who I'm talking about. But yeah, from a very young age, it certainly has been something I've been drawn to for a very long time.
Yeah, right. And what is it about heavy metal that you like in terms of mindfulness over, say, traditional meditation music?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a really difficult one to answer that I've been thinking about for a really long time.
Mm.
Because other music is sort of more traditionally relaxing, and that's sort of where we get the meditation part from. And I really love other sorts of music as well. Like I love folk rock. I love classical music. Anyone who's listened to our album will see there's some classical pieces on there that I've written. So,
Right.
I do like other styles of music, but then there's nothing quite like metal when you're trying to work through really difficult emotions. And I think that's really what it is. It's severe look at really difficult, really complex emotions. So when you consider feeling really, really angry or really, really sad, and that tends to be in Fall and Resist, what we do, we have anger and sadness and we put them together. And that's kind of how it works for us. But when you have those really extreme emotions, to the absolute extreme end, heavy metal can express that in a way that other music really doesn't. So it's more about leaning into the emotion that you're feeling at that time and understanding and exploring how that sort of works in your body and it works in the music that you're listening to. And it's about going, hey, someone else out there understands how I'm feeling. Like I'm feeling intensely angry right now. And, this band gets it, this vocalist gets it. They understand who I am and I can connect to them. And it's a very cathartic sort of thing. So I suppose that's what I noticed very, very early on, that they understood these really intense anger and sadness emotions. But, in heavy metal, you think of any of the emotions that you can list and there will be stuff there for it,
Really?
even feeling disgusted is one. That's an area I can't get into. I'm just not a fan. But there's this whole subgenre about feeling disgusted.
Really?
And yeah, it's huge. It's really, really big. So it's generally called grindcore, and it's about just grossing you out. That's what it's about. So it's it's interesting because I think there are different sort of subgenres of metal that deal with different styles of feeling and of emotion. So it is really misunderstood by people who don't really get into metal, and they sort of say, well, I can't understand how that's relaxing. It doesn't make any sense. But I think it's less about being relaxing and more about being mindful. It's more about being in the moment and present.
Right. I love that. And for me, I know mindfulness is all around connecting into our senses, and one of our most important senses is listening. And yeah, music has this capacity to just sort of transfix you in time and space, doesn't it? You can listen to a track and, you know, time can pass and you don't even know.
Yes.
So I can relate to that. And I imagine other people can really relate to this on a broad level, depending on whatever music they listen to.
Absolutely. And that tap in is really interesting because when you listen to things, you know, in the past that you used to listen to very heavily, and I don't know whether this is, and you might be able to tell us, Emily, because I'm not sure, is this just a millennial thing or you know,
You calling me
be,
a millennial?
I'm calling myself one, but I don't know whether it's just something, you know, sort of in my generation, music was your identity. You know what I mean? Like, especially for metalheads. I mean, we have symbols that you do that and people know you're a metalhead. You know?
Right.
So it's like we wore this. You know, it was like our, you know, this is who I am. This is part of, you know, what makes me me. So when you were listening to certain music at certain stages of your life, and then you go back and listen to it now, you're instantly transported to those times in your life when you listen to those. And when you went through something rough, although for me, whenever I go through things like grief and loss and really intense emotions like that, I attach myself to certain albums and songs and things. And then from then on, those songs and those albums represent that time in my life. And I find it so great to be able to go, I'm feeling that again. I'm feeling really sad again. I can notice that in my body. I'm going to listen to that stuff and I'm going to think about it. I'm going to just sit in this rather than saying, I'm feeling a bad emotion, get it away from me. I don't want to think about it, you know.
Right. Right. I absolutely love that. That so resonates with me. I know that, for example, you know, it's very easy to avoid difficult emotions. Like it's our default, isn't it? Like you feel something and then you just want to not feel it. You just want to push it away. And I love that what you're using metal or music to actually process your emotional state. I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and look, most of the people I speak to around this sort of stuff, and I've been doing it for a really long time, you know, planning heavy metal shows that raise money for Beyond Blue and, you know, running podcasts, those sorts of things. Like I do different bits and pieces that connect on this level. And this has been because I have these conversations. I mean, it's one of the good things about social media, you know, that those sorts of connections that you can make with people from all over the world where they talk to you. I mean, one of the biggest compliments I've ever had is from fans turning to me and saying, you know, I felt that. I feel what you're talking about. And they don't even necessarily talk about, you know, the lyrics I've used or even the emotions that they're feeling. They just talk about, you know, I connected with it. And that is probably the strongest compliment that I've ever received, because that's what we try to do. You know, we try to distill that emotion, turn it into music and put it out there. So it's fantastic to have that connection with fans.
And what do your friends and family think of your heavy metal music? Do they enjoy it, or is there kind of a bit different?
Yeah, it depends on who you talk to. My wife's not a fan, but
is that a problem?
No, it's not. See, I mean, she's a massive fan of. She actually got me into folk rock. Actually, we've been together.
Right.
Yeah, we've been together since like year 9. Like we've been together for a really long time.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So we sort of, you know, in a lot of ways kind of grew up together. So she showed me a lot of the folk rock sort of stuff that she likes. So, you know, I love James Taylor. I love Simon and Garfunkel. I love all that sort of stuff, you know. But to be fair, whenever I write a new song, she's the first person to listen to it and tell me whether she likes it or not. And she's the first one to say, it just doesn't sound like you, or, you know, that there's something not quite right, or the opposite. Yeah, I think you know, this part's really spot on. So very, very supportive, even though she doesn't like the music. My kids love it. My kids are big fans. I'm very careful which metal I actually show them, of course, because some of it can be pretty graphic. But
oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So you gotta be. I've vetted a little bit, but they love it. My extended family, or sort of the family I grew up in, my brother is also a metalhead. He's in bands and been playing in bands for most of his life as well. But the rest of my family, not so much. I've got three sisters that, not really connected to it. And my
so
parents
much.
are, my parents are kind of like, yeah, cool. So
Yeah.
they certainly don't connect to it in the same way that me or even my brother does. So.
Well, it's so nice to chat to you because I guess, heavy metal isn't something that I've ever connected to either. And I just love that, it's actually you're using your music in exactly the same way that I use music to experience emotion, to feel something, to process things. What about when I know that you write music as well. Do you find that kind of cathartic, or is that process?
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
have to now. That is something that I have to work into my day. Whether it's just pick up the guitar and strum for a little bit, or whether it's, writing lyrics or something, I have to do it. And the reason why I say I have to do it is because I know it's good for my mental health. I
Right.
know that when I have spent time doing that, I have more capacity to deal with the other things that are happening in my life.
Mm.
And being a lecturer, being a teacher, you're on a lot. You're sort of, you're higher thinking, and you're trying to help students, and you're doing the best you can. And it's a very exhausting job. It's a really rewarding job, but it's an exhausting
Mm.
job. So you've
Mm.
got to look after yourself. Very important. So usually just as the kids go to bed, I wander into the study for about an hour, and I might write a song. I might not. I might just strum the guitar. I might do some vocals. I might just whatever takes my fancy at that time. And I try to make it, I try not to give myself sort of deadlines in that time. I try to just say, whatever feels right, just get into it and just do whatever it is you want to do. And sometimes I'll just, like I said, just strum a little bit and that's it.
Mm.
But it feels very mindful. It feels very in the moment, and like you're connecting to something, within you, you're connecting to something really important. And I think that's, a message I think for everyone is that you've got to do the things that are looking after you, And for me, that's one of the things I just have to now. It's not, I think I battled with it a lot when I was younger, but it's not something that's very negotiable anymore.
Right. You've given in fully.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I
A
love
little
that.
bit selfish.
I love that because I really feel like, maybe something that someone does to boost their well-being is a bit unusual, or it is a bit not in keeping with what their friends or family are doing. But I love that you've just committed to going, hey, this really makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure that I prioritize that over everything else, because actually, our mental health is the most important thing that we've got.
Oh, it's so true. And this is a flag I've been flying for so long, and sort of talking to people about, you've got to listen to yourself. Like, it's so important to actually listen to what it is that you are telling yourself. And for me, in a lot of ways, it's you're a creative person. And there's no sense in denying or removing or changing or whatever that part of you. It's part of who you are, and it's probably one of the most honest expressions that I have. And look, Emily, it's scary a lot of the time. Like sometimes I'll put a song out to the rest of the boys in the band. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to take this. Are they going to like it?
Yeah.
What's going to? It's really scary because you're bearing yourself. This is me in my true form. It's like, people say things to me, oh, you're in a metal band. Do you want to scream something for me? I said, well, it's all on there. Jump on the Spotify and listen to it. And, you want to get to know me a little bit better. Listen to the album.
Something beautiful about, being able to really show yourself to the world and be seen, but also be kind of accepted and find a place of belonging. And I wonder if that's what people find in music as well, this sense of belonging. Whatever it is that you listen to, whether it's pop or whether it's, whatever genre you're interested in. But I think music is so beautiful that it has the capacity to connect to anyone and everyone across race, across genres, across, socioeconomic lines, across everything. And such a powerful sense, our listening sense. And I just love that you've really tuned into this and made that connection between music and being present in the moment in our senses through mindfulness.
Yeah, so true. And I think, we see this whenever you go to heavy metal shows. And I would encourage everyone to go to one. And the only reason I say that is not because necessarily you love the music or anything, but to experience the atmosphere of it. It is amazing. Such a feeling of togetherness and such a feeling of everyone connecting to what's going on. I've had a lot of friends who don't like metal come to our shows and just say, wow, I hate metal, but that was amazing. You know,
Really?
I really felt something with that, which is, you know, again, a great compliment to get. And I think, again, it's about that leaning into that emotion and being present in that moment of, you know, what's going on around me? What can I see? What can I hear? What can I feel? And yeah, I think it's a really great way, I feel, of looking after yourself. Yeah.
Liam, I think it might be time for us to have a listen to one of your...
Oh, exciting.
What do you reckon?
Sounds great to me. Let's do it.
All right. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this Live Better at Home session to talk about the benefits of music as mindfulness. Look, Medibank is encouraging everyone to find their own way of living better through new or unexpected experiences like this session. So who knows, you might find your inner Zen any moment now as we listen to this track. So on that note, I'm going to leave everyone with a heavy metal song from Liam's band Fall and Resist. What's the name of this track,
This
Liam?
is Cinders. This song's called Cinders.
Cinders. All right, awesome. So for more ways to live better, check out Medibank's Live Better at Home. All right, so we're going to do it. Sit back, relax, put your feet up, find a comfortable seat, and let's have a little listen back. Maybe it's time we can all find our inner Zen through this practice. Never know. Thanks, everybody.
Destroy the foundations, render us to nothing more than dust. Burn to ashes. This is the squad.